What's going on, people? I am Swavor, and this is Opinionated Facts, the Media Group podcast. I am joined by Coco Love, the Illuminated Lenses, and Journey to be Great. Today, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things, but normally we do talk about breaking news and current event analysis. So I'm going to be talking about NLE Choppa and his girlfriend and some of the things that went on between those two. From my understanding, and of course, y'all can help me with this if y'all know a little bit more about it than me, but when they met, he told her that he didn't want to be in nothing too serious and that he would be kind of wanting an open relationship, right? So I think that's how it was going. So I guess after some time has passed, he can see that she's not really able to handle that. So I guess she got onto some sort of live or something like that, and she was like upset about their relationship and what was going on. And then I guess he decides that he's going to end the relationship because I guess he's saying, hey, if I can't cheat and I see it's breaking you down, the best thing I could do for you is leave. So I just want to talk to y'all about this situation to get y'all's opinion about that. So first of all, I feel she shouldn't have agreed to that if she knew she couldn't handle that. I mean, what do y'all think?
100%. I agree as well.
It's not really a relationship there. Like, it's one thing if you say, I want an open relationship. That's one thing, everybody's definition of relationship is different. But when you say, hey, I'm gonna be in a relationship, but, I want to be able to cheat openly, then it's not, I don't even know what you call that. Like, that's not
It's polygamy. That's what it's polygamy. Yeah. Because he wanted her to be okay with the fact that he was going to be with other women. And I think maybe in his mind, he expected her to just kind of like, and maybe join into the idea. And I actually did some research about that. Polygamous relationships, they had a survey done by, I think, Psychology Today. They did 340 surveys with just people that are involved with polygamous relationships. And out of the 340, a lot of those people said that the relationships only last about 8 years. So that's something to think about too, if you want to jump into a polygamous relationship. Now, that's only 340 surveys. Of course, there's millions of people that are involved in that, but I do think that that's something that people should really take serious. And of course, she should have probably looked at that a little bit more than maybe she, did at the time. Another thing I want to bring to y'all's attention is I think he felt like he was doing her a favor. Like, because I saw the video where he was responding like, I just ain't want her to be this, because I think he cares about her. I think he does. But I think that where he is in his life right now is pretty difficult for him to be faithful. So I want to ask y'all a question. Do y'all feel like he did her a favor by breaking up with her?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if he was straightforward with her, letting her know that he's not going to be with only her. And that was her decision to go ahead and move forward with the relationship. So, I mean, he realized that she can't handle it and he decided to let her go. I think that's the best thing. And another thing about this situation that I don't understand, and maybe y'all can shed some light on it for me, why do people take to social media when they have issues? And like, what? I don't get it. Like, most people, they don't care. So I don't understand why go to social media and pour your heart out when you're actually dealing with something.
Because what are you looking to get from it? Because my thing was, and I mean, I am never going to intentionally set up my phone to record myself crying. And I'm not saying she set out and she had the tears in motion before she recorded. I don't know, because I didn't really watch her video. I only saw a snippet of it on I think Shade Room. But if I am recording myself and I'm crying, I think it's time to end the video.
Yeah,
I do not understand that. And then, it was, I guess it was some people, some females or somebody joking or whatever. I don't really know, but I know that once it was all over and everything, and after he responded, she made another post that basically was like, I pray for you people that, think that this is funny, or, basically joking or whatever, which, I don't really get the point in that either, because everybody has been through some heartbreaking stuff, but you can choose to not go through it publicly. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take the L, hold it, and just move on. I mean, because nobody would have known anything about any of this, I don't think, if she had to come to social media with it. And he just got on social media to kind of defend it, so he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Because it seems as though he's not necessarily the bad guy here. It seems like he started out being truthful with her, and she thought she could deal with it, and she couldn't. And so he saw that and he decided to end things.
I think he did her a favor, and I think that she'll get over it eventually. And I also want to go into some things. I did some research about that too. So I went to BetterHelp. And I just typed in a few things related to men. I think we all have our different reasons for why we may decide to go out and cheat. But I did want to do this. So I went to BetterHelp.com, and they were talking about the reasons why men cheat is because their emotional needs are not being met. A lot of women don't think that men have emotions, but we do. But I thought that was interesting too. But I'm not going to go too far into that. But that's one of the reasons. They said that their self-esteem could be low, and that they could be having serious problems within a relationship with the person that they're with, or they could be having problems in their own personal life. And I think for him, he's having some issues in his personal life. And I don't want to say it's like, I don't really know what they are, but I guess I'm just saying him being so young and wanting to explore. And I think that's probably what it is with him and her. And hopefully, you know, they can work their way through it, because I'm sure there's other people out there that's interested in those two as far as relationships are concerned. But I do think this is an important time for people to think about, you know, if that's something they really want to do, and then learn from this situation with these two.
Don't they have a kid too?
That I don't know. I was just really just focused on just what they had going on.
I think
currently.
I think I wonder if I'm not mistaken, I want to say they do. Now, if they have a kid, then you could also say, though, yeah, she still should have knew better, but at the same time, he kind of dragging along a little bit if y'all had a kid and everything too. It's kind of, yeah, it's good. You're saying something now, but if you felt that way in the beginning, I mean, he could have ended it himself too. So it's still kind of on both sides, even though, yeah, she should have just left it alone.
I think that she thought that she could change him or change his outlook on things. And, you know, I know a lot of people do that. You know, they see that someone one way or someone says they want something, and they think that over time that they can change the person. I'm thinking that might be what have happened there.
Well, my topic is, I'm talking about Ime Udoka. If you're not sure who he is, he's the head coach of the Boston Celtics, who just went to the NBA Finals. So this story is still ongoing currently, but, you know, it came out that apparently he has been having some type of consensual relationship with one of the female staffers, and apparently something else is going on with other female staffers too. That's the confusing part about it. But apparently the team knew since July. I don't know. It just kind of seems like with celebrities, it's kind of like the cheating thing is just kind of normalized now. Why do y'all think that is?
Money and access. I mean, he has money, so you know what I'm saying. And then like access, they have access to all of these women that want to be near them and all of that or whatever because they have money. I mean, that's just, first and foremost. So it's just really easy.
I also want to speak on that too. I think that is true, the money and the access, but I also think that he's married. I think is he dating her or married to Nia Long?
They're engaged. They've been engaged since 2017, I believe.
Okay. Well, I think that in those situations, I don't really know if some men really understand the magnitude of what they have going on with the one woman. So, like for example, he may have been cheating, or well, I ain't gonna say cheating, but he might have had all these relationships with these different women before he got engaged. And I think sometimes men want to be engaged or even be married, but they still want to go out and explore. And I think that comes from not being sure. So for him, I think if he's having that kind of situation where he's dealing with multiple women, he doesn't have one side chick, he has multiple side chicks. That lets me know that he's probably he wasn't clear with himself and sure of himself when he decided he wanted to and get engaged to her. Now, I don't know what she provides to him, and I think that's the reason why he got with her, you know, the reason why he got engaged to her. But apparently, whatever she has is not enough to satisfy what he's trying to do or wants to have in his life.
Well, sticking with sports figures, today I have something about Brett Farve, who we know is a former Green Bay Packer NFL quarterback, as well as a Hall of Famer. He has been accused of receiving funds from Mississippi's program, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, which is a government welfare program. And the funds actually went to build a football arena at Southern Miss, which is where his daughter played volleyball, and it's also his alma mater. In case you don't know, Mississippi has the highest poverty rate in the country, with 19.6% of the population being in poverty. He allegedly received $5 million to go towards the arena, as well as $1.1 million for speaking engagements, which he never gave. And these supposed to have been motivational speeches for the needy people in poverty. He's supposed to motivate them, but he never gave those. So reason why he's in such hot water now is because text messages have recently surfaced between him and the former governor, Phil Bryant. And so in one of the text messages, it has Bryant writing to Brett Favre saying that there's limited control of the federal funds in the form of grants for children and adults in the low income community. Use of these funds are tightly controlled. And he also went on to respond, improper use could result in violation of federal law. So making it, known that Brett Favre knew what he was doing, which he claimed that he had no idea where these funds were coming from. And to go even further, he also wanted money to have an indoor football arena built, because at the time he was trying to recruit the son of Deion Sanders, who was playing quarterback, but he goes to Jackson State now. And he wanted to use more money to entice him to come to the school. So from this story, what I gather from it, I was actually listening to something on YouTube, but it just reminded me that no one is going to come save you. And the person went on to speak about government, other people. Like I said, we're talking about a place that has a high poverty rate, and who a lot of people may be depending on the government to help them out. But we have the government taking this money along with other people. Now, it was quite a few officials involved in this, which is be too long to mention on this podcast. But it was just so many people involved in taking money and redirecting these funds for their own personal gain. So it just made me think that no one is going to come save you, especially when you have stuff like this going on. But as of now, he hasn't been charged with anything, and who knows, will charges come about. But what do y'all think?
Never trust a man in Wrangler jeans.
Never trust a man. What?
He rocking Wrangler jeans, man.
Right. You know, he always got that. Fred Frog always got that Wrangler jeans commercial. Him and that little copper. I can see him right now being shifty with folks' money with that little copper fit knee brace he got and that little Wrangler jeans. You can't trust him, man.
That's crazy. I mean, I really don't know what else to say about that besides that's crazy. Like, I definitely think he should have some type of charges against him, though. I mean, he's basically stealing money, correct?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he has I guess he has the means to combat, fight against the charges or whatever, I assume, and get a lawyer. Hopefully it's not from this food fund or whatever, but yeah, man. I mean, and then like you mentioned, like Mississippi, it's the worst place to do this. I mean, not trying to I mean, they are struggling. I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean, like, that's really messed up. And I mean, all to give it to your daughter's school or your alma mater, like.
Well, and I also forgot to mention that during Brett Favre's football career, he made a little over $100 million, and that's from football. So endorsements, I mean, it's no telling how much he made with that also. But yeah.
Well, I think too, most of the time, even in places where we consider it to be impoverished, we're talking about the citizens. We're not necessarily talking about the officials.
Mm-hmm.
There's rich people. Yeah. There's rich people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And then you always gonna have a piece of poverty or a group in the city or state that's impoverished. So I guess in this situation, we're talking about all rich men here. So when we're talking about them not doing the right thing for the people, that's been going on forever. I mean, if you think about it, it's always been the people that have the money that make all the decisions for the people that don't have the money. And then that doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you have all the money and you're gonna make decisions for me and I don't have any money, how can you really know what I'm really going through? Like, say if I've been rich so long, maybe I forgot about how it feels to be poor. You know what I mean? So I think in those cases that we have to be careful about trying to put people on a pedestal and then making them and just believing, like you said, CC, that somebody's going to come and rescue you. Because I'm telling you, the citizens may be poor, but the state is not. The people that run that state, they're not. Go ahead, E. What were you about to say?
I'm about to say, I get what you're saying, but I don't know. Brett Favre, he kind of always been kind of a wild one. I mean, first of all, you gotta be a special type of lowdown to steal from folks who don't have consistent water. Like, you a special type of scumbag, my dog. Like, that's crazy. And then I think he had got in trouble one time with I think when he was playing towards the end of his career, I think he had sent like some dudes or some heat to one of the people on the staff or something like that. So far been wild. He a country wild man. He don't care.
It's the Wranglers, man. Is it something about the Wranglers? Put the Wranglers on, got your
Wranglers on. Get a little frisky.
I hope he has the funds to pay his publicists, like, extra overtime and all that good stuff, because I know they be having a time. Wow.
He probably got OnlyFans.
Wrangler. Hey, what's his OnlyFans name?
Wrangler Man 2000.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is Well, it's not really related at all, actually. I was trying to find a way, but whatever. DJ Akademiks has been under fire recently for some comments that he's made. So first thing is, if you never heard of him before, I don't really know what he's famous for, but I do know he's not a so there's that. Well, basically, it all started when he made some comments on Twitch about pioneer hip hop artists. So now I don't know exactly where the conversation started, but basically he made a comment stating that pioneer hip hop artists look dusty. That's the word he used, dusty. And he said they don't, basically he's saying that they don't look like they're doing very well. He was talking about how people are always saying, oh, you know, so-and-so is the pioneer of hip hop or whatever. And he was just like, you know, dog, have you seen these people? Have you seen how they look, right? And then now I don't believe he named anyone specifically, but you know, as they like to say sometimes, a hit dog will holler or whatever. So LL Cool J felt it in his spirit to say something, and rightfully so, because it's, to me, it was a dumb comment, but whatever. So LL Cool J basically said that just because someone may fail to get money or retain it, it doesn't mean that they didn't make a contribution to the culture. And I do agree. I think that, you know, there are some people or whatever that have, you know, you're going to always remember, and they might not be doing so well, or they might not have, you know, fortunately they might have passed away, and they might not be doing so well or when they passed away because of just other decisions. But he also mentioned how this conversation of money and status doesn't seem to come up in other genres like country or rock. And he said that the idea that you have to have money or else your contribution isn't valued is a misinformed way of looking at the culture. He also talked about how in the beginning, like hip hop artists, like way back now, way back, he was saying hip hop artists were not like, they weren't taken seriously by other people or even like some of the labels. Like they didn't really take them seriously, so they didn't really invest a lot of money into making sure that these artists do well in life. You know what I'm saying? Like they just did enough to like hold them over for right then, but they didn't get them an accountant, or you know, they didn't set them up on a 5 or 10 year plan to, you know, how they're going to like be good later, you know what I'm saying, and make decisions that are going to help them out later. So then Russell Simmons chimed in as well, and he talked about how he's worked with lots of artists such as Jay-Z and Kanye, and he was like, they're pretty rich. But he also mentioned that he worked with some artists that aren't so rich now. But he basically said that even though he himself has a lot of money, he's basically saying, you know, money doesn't buy happiness. And, you know, people with a lot of money tend to say that, but I mean, he was serious or whatever. But he was saying that he's abandoned some of his possessions because they didn't really make him happy. And he ended it by asking DJ Akademiks how many people has he made rich. And he said that he doesn't know him, but he wished him well. So this puts some stuff into perspective for me, because you see a lot of times, like in our culture, just in general, why is it that our culture seems to only associate money with success? Like, you know what I'm saying, for someone to be successful, because you don't see this when we're talking about Travis Barker, Dolly Parton. Nobody is counting their pockets. You know what I'm saying? Was it Garth Brooks? I can't even think his name. But no one talks about their money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure, I assume they're doing well. I don't really know. But no one really talks about their money or anything like that. And no one negates, though, that they've made any type of contribution to their genre. So why is it that that only occurs in like hip hop? Like, what do y'all think?
That's a very valid point that you brought up. And I think because a lot of hip hop focuses on cars, money, women. And for whatever reason, that has been, I guess, brainwashed into people that this is what success truly is. But I think you said LL Cool J brought it up about regardless of their money or whatever, it doesn't take away from what they actually gave to hip hop.
Right.
So, I mean, and which is true. You know, some people have changed the culture. And not to mention, if you think about it, back then, when we talk about pioneers, the music industry was so much different back then. Like now it's different how you have like iTunes and different streaming. You got YouTube where artists can have their own YouTube page and get millions and millions of views. So it's much different now compared to how music was back then. But you can't take away anybody's contribution based on how much they have in a bank account, which is absolutely crazy to me. And like you mentioned before, who is DJ Akademiks? Like what is he famous for? Or
I don't know, pissing people off apparently, because they've been on his head this week because he said something about Reginae Carter, and her boyfriend now and talking about both of them or whatever. So everybody on here now because he called Regine a B word. And I mean, basically, I think he's famous for minding other people's business, counting other people's pockets.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say that. I mean, I've never been a fan of his anyway. But I've always known whenever I've heard his name come up, it's always been with some drama.
Yeah.
That's one thing I will say. Every time his name is brought up, it's always with some drama. So I think that eventually something's going to happen with him. I don't wish nothing negative on the man, but I just think that if he keeps going in the path that he's going, I think something's going to happen to him, because I think he doesn't really fully think about the stuff that he says. Or maybe he does. Maybe he's trying to keep his name alive that way, kind of like Charleston White. But I got to tell you, Charleston White keeps it real. He may say some stuff you don't want to hear, but at least he keeps it real. I think Akademiks, it don't even have to make sense to him. He's just going to say it anyway.
Well, T.I. released a statement, a very wordy statement, basically.
Well, it wouldn't be T.I. without words.
Requesting to speak with him, and it was more so of a I need to see. It wasn't really a request.
He might be just an industry plant. That's kind of how I always kind of looked at him. You know, a lot of times in the media or in the the entertainment business, you see people that they come out of nowhere and they sole purpose just to cause problems. So or just stir up controversy or whatever. So I kind of feel like he's one of them.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case, because that does kind of make some sense. Or maybe he's just wrapped up in his own way of thinking, and like a lot of other people, this is who I am and that's it. Unfortunately, he's not too popular for that. But then again, I guess he is too, because a lot of people still follow him, even though he's done some of the things he's done.
Yeah, he's got like 5 million followers, so something is working, I guess, in a sense for him. He just may not be well liked, I guess. Well,
looks like we have come to the end of another episode. I want to take the time to thank all y'all for listening to us today. This has been an episode after a short break, and we apologize for you guys that were looking forward to getting the episode from us last week, but we just had a lot going on. Again, you can follow all of us. Our social media handles will be in the description below or somewhere in the notes. I am Swavor, joined by Coco Love. Illuminated Lenses, journey to be great. This is Opinionated Facts Media Group Podcast. Until next time, peace.